The Bible is for
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Bible Study Podcast.
Nailed it. I didn't interrupt you that time.
My name's Anthony, and that's Tim. You're here for Cheat Day Devos, and that's what we're going to give you. Today, we finished the book of Leviticus.
Done.
Making me want to Leviticus.
This is something for me, because I've never read through the whole book of Leviticus before.
Not a lot of people have.
And I did it.
Yeah.
In like the last month.
You did it, too, with us.
Kind of.
The highlights, anyway. This is a segment we call Cheat Day Devos. We're going to cover a section of the Bible, talk about it, talk about the parts that we think are funny. Needs to be noted, Tim and I don't know much about much. Don't base decisions based on things that we're about to say. Don't do stuff because Tim and Anthony told you to.
It'd be better to do the opposite if we're really being honest.
Percentage-wise, I like your chances. If you're like, well, Tim and Anthony said this, so it's probably something different. Mm-hmm. That would be if you're betting like the odds, the house or that thing. Take the house.
That being said, a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a blue moon. That's what they say.
I actually saw a squirrel just like that featured in a film recently. And I don't know the sequence of how these podcasts are being released, that whether everyone will get that joke or not.
Well, that was an angel squirrel. We all know that angel squirrel disappeared.
Image where it's like in heaven and God says, I'm going to send you angels, but they're not going to know that you're angels because you don't have wings. And usually it's an opossum, but in this case it's a squirrel. Possum or opossum?
Possum.
Yeah, same.
I think it's good. It's good to bring that up. I think it's kind of like you give a grunt. There's a
possum.
There's a sound that's made. You don't have to like enunciate the O on the possum. Possum.
Yes, that's correct.
Possum.
That's absolutely correct in all accounts. You shouldn't be saying possum. That's too hard.
Yeah.
You need to be softly going into it. Oh, in the tree out by my house, there was a possum. Mm-hmm. That's the way you say it.
It's a non-committal way of uttering a sound.
It's the in real life upside down E. I don't know. It's a sound.
Yeah, possum.
Yeah, possum. We're doing Leviticus 23 to the end of Leviticus today, and we're going to jump right into it. Tim,
let's do it.
Tell us about Leviticus chapter 23.
You want me to explain it? So we need to backtrack for anybody who's first stepping in.
Oh my gosh, welcome
to the podcast. This is your first time. Is a really interesting place to jump in. But
gosh, you look great.
Stop hitting on the people that are listening to the podcast.
It's their first time. I want them to feel welcome.
No, it makes people feel creepy. You've been told that before.
Not me. You can tell me how they're great.
Yeah,
10 times a day.
Yes, that's you though. But the way you say it to other people, it's weird.
I did a finger gun.
People don't like the finger guns. Anyway, Leviticus has a bunch of we're kind of scrolling through this quickly, because there's a lot of stuff that's repetitive. We've heard a lot of it in Exodus. You hear a lot of it over and over, even in the chapters in Leviticus. Yeah. So, we had been doing 2 chapters at a time, reading every line, every word, every verse. And for your sake, really it's for your sake, because we still had to read the whole thing. Yeah, for your sake, for the listener, it's not that much fun to listen to. And because it's just repetitive. It's also why we call it Cheat Day Devos. We're giving you some highlights here. Right. If you want to read a whole thing, go for it. You should. But Leviticus is all about it's about some laws and ways of living, and God has given Moses some rules for his people, what to do in certain scenarios, when to sacrifice what animal at what time to who, and for what sort of offering is this. Yeah. And so now we're
to wave it.
Yeah, how to wave it, what to wave it with, what to cook it on, etc. So that's where we're at. And so Leviticus chapter 23 jumps into the feasts.
These are the feasts.
Feasts. What to do with the feasts.
Yeah.
And so I kind of work you into this. So starting with verse 1, God spoke to Moses, tell the people of Israel, these are my appointed feasts, the appointed feasts of God, which you are to decree as sacred assemblies. So like this is party time.
These are parties.
God's party planning here, telling Moses and the people what parties they need to go to when they need to attend.
National holiday kind of vibes. Like, I love this.
Work 6 days. Seventh day is a Sabbath, a day of total and complete rest, a sacred assembly. Don't do any work. Wherever you live, it is a Sabbath to God. These are the appointed feasts of God, the sacred assemblies which you are to announce at the time set for them. God's Passover, beginning at sundown on the 14th day of the first month. God's feast of unraised bread on the 15th day of the same month. You are to eat unraised bread for 7 days. Hold a sacred assembly on the first day, and don't do any regular work. Offer fire gifts to God for 7 days. On the seventh day, hold a sacred assembly. Don't do any regular work. And I love the don't do any regular work is iterated multiple times here. Like I feel it's like 7 more times in the chapter. And like it's in the Bible, man.
Should be days.
Should be chill.
Should be days.
Like why are we fighting this so much?
Yeah. It is kind of funny and interesting that like there's a lot of things in the Bible that, you know, are maybe mentioned once and then they come up in like modern society and we kind of fixate on very particular passages. The concept of take a break is so over and over and over. Like please take a break. Gotta take a break. Gotta stop. Gotta take a break. Mm-hmm. And yet I feel like a ton of people, myself included, are just like, yeah, but I know. I can keep working. Mm-hmm. I got stuff to do tomorrow.
And it's true. And when I sit around, my wife is the first one to tell me to stop taking a break when I have to get off my butt and do some stuff on a Saturday. But God's rules is what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Verse 14 says, offer a fire gift to God, a pleasing fragrance, and also a drink offering of a quart of wine. Like, it's in the Bible, guys. A quart of wine every once in a while.
A quart of.
I don't think a quart is that much. How much is a quart?
A quart?
Yeah, 4 cups, 2 cups.
Got to be close to a pint.
It's one of those. Yeah. Anyway,
because mind your P's and Q's was pints and quarts.
Yeah.
So
quarts of wine, pints of beer, quarts of wine.
I really liked in verse 10, this is Leviticus chapter 23, speak to the Israelites and say to them, when you enter the land, I'm going to give you and you reap. Oh, when you enter the land, I'm going to give you, and you reap its harvest. Bring to the priest a sheaf of the first grain you harvest. And I read that and I was just like, sheaf.
It's good.
Then again in verse 20.
Were they falling off a cliff?
No, it's like it's like you're saying sheesh, but I made it in a sheaf.
And you say sheesh really, really long?
Sheesh. Yeah. We did like 8 years ago. Nobody does anymore.
Holy sheaf.
There was a whole song about it.
That's what you know.
When you, verse 22, when you reap the harvest of your land, do not reap to the very edges of your field or gather the gleanings of your harvest. Leave them for the poor and for the foreigner residing among you. I am the Lord your God. Like this is a policy like this, that there's like just sort of general looking out for everyone in the community. Mm-hmm. And I think that's cool. I love that like sentiment in there. I also like it as, kind of you're alluding to a little bit as a tool that you can kind of be doing a good thing and maybe also be a little lazy and be like, have maybe somebody come in and be like, oh, actually, are you done harvesting? 'Cause it looks like there's still a lot out there. And you're like,
what defines an edge nowadays, man?
I mean, there's got to be room on the margin.
Like if you're telling your son, like, "Hey, go plow the fields,"
yeah,
and he's like, "I mean, I had to leave the edges open." And like, kid, you did the one line down the middle.
That's what I'm saying.
You got to do the rest.
And it would be tough to have this argument. He's like, "I'm done. I left the margins, like you said."
Like. It's like writing a paper in high school. You're like, I have just the margins. It's a 7-page paper, like you asked.
Right.
Like the margins are 2.5 inches. You increase the margins and
right. It would be like trying to overcome a rule that, like in my house, where it's like, hey, don't clean your room all the way because it's just going to get dirty. If that was in the Bible, it's not. But if it was in there, it would be tough to have this argument with your kid who like picks up like 2 things. It's like, I was told to not do all of it.
Verse 15, there's a 15 to 21, this kind of section. By the way, I'm reading the Message version of the Bible for those of you who, because it's easier for a dummy like me to read, and it's a little bit more fun. And Anthony is not reading that version. That's okay. We're getting the cross combo of what, like, some stuff is just funnier in other versions. But
did I ever tell you my first interaction with the Message really quick before you do this?
No.
I was in a room and it was very funny to me because the Message was like new. Like, it's a relatively new translation. And I was in a room. I want to say DC Talk was involved in some way, if that puts you on the time frame of when it was. And this guy's up there.
They were involved with the Message Bible?
With the night.
They were in the room?
Evening. Yeah. And so I'm there and it's all happening. And the guy gets up there and he's like, I'm going to read you a bit from the Message. And there's like there's an eruption in the room. Like, heck yeah, it is the Message. And I remember being, however old I was, like 8 or something. And I'm like, oh no, I think I think you guys are taking this the wrong way. Like, in the room, it's a vivid memory I have where he's like, no, I think he's saying that it's from forget it.
It's a version.
It works both ways, I guess. Just let it go.
Starting in verse 15, it says, count 7 full weeks from the morning after the Sabbath when you brought the sheaf as a wave offering. Hang on. 50 days until the morning of the 7th Sabbath. Then present a new grain offering to God. Then it goes on to say, offer 1 male goat for an absolution offering and 2 yearling lambs for a peace offering. The priest will wave the 2 lambs before God. Emphasis, if you're not watching the video, you can't see me waving,
waving
2 lambs as a wave offering together with the grain of the first ripe grain, or with the bread of the first ripe grain. And it's like, we're waving a mutton sandwich to God at this point. And this is all tasty. This all sounds good.
Is it?
It doesn't say they've been slaughtered, these yearling lambs. Like, you grab a couple of lambs by their feet and just fling them around.
For function's sake. Do you have to juggle all that? Like, you're like,
I think that's a great point.
The yearling up there and the other parts, then you spin and you do it.
But you do have to wave them as you throw them up.
Throw in a quart of wine. Somebody, got it.
And you just like wipe the blood off of you.
The goat. It's not as fun for the goat as the yearling sheep. The sheep's on a carnival ride.
Oh, they're soft and plush.
This is fun.
Yeah.
And the goat's like, me next. And he's like,
nah.
You're not gonna like yours.
Nah. Anyway, moving on.
Verse 22.
You already did that one.
Verse 27 is what I meant to say. Thank you. The 10th day of this 7th month is the Day of Atonement. Hold a sacred assembly and deny yourself and present a food offering to the Lord. Do not do any work on that day because it is the Day of Atonement when God is made for you, when atonement is made for you before the Lord your God. So it talks about deny yourself. So you're not supposed to work and deny yourself a lot of what they general consensus is that means fast. You're not supposed to eat. And honestly, this might be personal to me, but I just thought like a day of not working and not eating sounds like the longest day.
Oh, yeah.
These are the things that meter my day. So if I woke up and was like, all right, first thing's breakfast. Oh, wait, I'm not doing that. I guess I'll just get right to it. Oh, wait, I'm not doing that either.
Oh, yeah.
Wowza. It'll be a long time till lunch. Oh, shoot. I'm not doing that either? I'm just supposed to exist today?
Play with your kids, man.
Like,
be a dad.
What am I? It just feels like a long day because those are the markers of my day. That's what I want to point out is it's like, I wouldn't know what time it was. If I was like, usually I'm like, I had lunch not that long ago. Must be about 2. If I have no benchmarks, I'd be like, I don't know what time it is. I don't know what day it is.
Right. Like when you're on vacation for a couple of weeks, you're like, is it Friday, 4 day, 8 day?
I think if you
Sunday?
took meals away from me, I'd
What's
be
a
in
day?
that same mental place. Just be like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I would think it was like 4 p.m. and it'd be 10 a.m.
That's
I'm so hungry.
That's what I'm saying.
What stuck out to me in that is that the consequences of this are pretty severe.
Yeah.
It says, if anyone who doesn't fast on that day must be cut off from his people. I will destroy from among his people anyone who works on that day. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a strongly worded message.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's very, again, and I just want to point out, just for comedy's sake, the antithesis of like the modern American workplace, where the message is typically, we're closed on Monday. If the emails go out, it's fine.
Oh, you're thinking churches. Closed on Monday.
Well, I'm thinking more like a holiday or something. Like, there's usually this, like, if you want to work when you're not supposed to be working, it's fine. And then you go to, like, Levitical law. Mm-hmm. Oh, you're working when you're not supposed to be working? Get juggled.
Get yourself juggled.
I have, my next one's in 42.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have one between there. This is another, again, this is all like, these are all instructions for the different ceremonies. Festivals. Live in temporary shelters for 7 days. All native-born Israelites are to live in such shelters. So your descendants will know that I had the Israelites live in temporary shelters when I brought them out of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. Here's what I like about this. I like the idea of like a family memory that you make everyone reenact. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, like, that's kind of my challenge from this, was like, think of my greatest moments, and then I want to make my family do them again. You know?
Yeah.
Like, if you hit a big shot in high school or scored a big touchdown, it's not enough to tell everybody. You want to make them, like, once a year, we drive out to the field and we put the pads on, and Dad scores a touchdown he catches it, he slams it in your face, and he flexes on you. And that's how we remember Dad's touchdown. Because it's not enough for him to tell us. We got to, like, feel it.
Yeah, like, remember that one time I fixed the oven? All right, everybody get real hungry, okay?
Don't eat for 4 days.
Okay.
We really want you in the right state.
You're very hungry,
of mind.
okay?
Yeah.
Now, oven's off. We don't know. Get in the zone.
How do we fix it?
Okay, I'm going to go turn the breaker back on.
I think this is good.
It's not bad.
This is how stories carry on, right? I want my great-great-grandkids to know this story. If you killed it during a play in high school or something, I keep going to high school. Maybe other people had peaks in their life. I guess I'm just talking about mine specifically. You did something cool. Make everybody feel it again.
Mm-hmm. Why not?
I did a really good job at that musical. So once a year, you guys are getting Chicago.
Yeah.
I'm going on the stage.
These are oral tradition. It's more than oral tradition. It's like video tradition that's passed on to another. It's like watching old family videos. But they didn't have videos back then.
If you beat your older brother at a race at one point and you're like back out on the street, it's August 10th. We're doing it. Everyone remember, bring a dish, bring a side. Today's when we celebrate me beating Billy in a race.
What I liked about this section is God calls it, well, in the Message translation, it's called the Feast of Booths. Booths.
Yeah,
Booths. It says live in booths for 7 days, every son and daughter of Israel. Like that's I made the people of Israel live in booths when I brought them out of the land of Egypt. I'm God, your God. I made you live in a booth.
Once heard a sermon. This is a true story. The guy preaching had a little bit of a southern accent, and this came out Festival of Booze.
Oh.
Booze.
Oh, gotcha.
Every time. So they would get together for the booze. And it was like, I mean, yeah, it's been known to bring people together. Leviticus 24?
Well, the end of this, like at the end, it says, Moses posted the calendar for the annual appointed feasts of God, which Israel was to celebrate. And I wonder, like, I love just the image of Moses walking over to the kitchen, nailing up the calendar and going like, hey, this is the plan for the month. And I wonder what, like, you know, Moses is like, what the heck? I didn't know it was Shem's birthday. You didn't put it on the calendar. You're supposed to put it on the calendar. Okay. We talked about putting it on the calendar, right?
Yeah.
And they didn't put it on the calendar.
Yeah.
That's posted. And then somebody's like, Moses, can you post the next month, like at least a couple of days ahead of time before this month ends so we can be prepared? Moses like, I don't have it finalized yet. I can't post the calendar if it's not finalized. If somebody wants to help me,
The scenario you're painting, every character is you and how you're experiencing that. You're wanting the plan for the next month, and the hero provides a plan in advance because the project is so well managed, and the people yearn for the project to be managed, and then someone manages the project. This is what I love about the fan fiction you're building right now.
It's also me in my house. Like, we have the calendar.
Yeah.
Put it on the calendar.
I love a calendar.
Love a calendar.
I love a calendar. Mm-hmm.
Doesn't work if not everybody's playing.
But everybody's got to get on board, and everybody's got to do the calendar.
My wife's getting a lot better. She's really jumped in.
Proud of her.
Guys, I'm very proud. She was very reluctant. She liked the paper calendar that she and only she could see and understand. And now she's moved to the digital calendar.
Yeah. Love having the ancient Jewish festivals paint like somewhere the calendar is marked up there.
Leviticus 24.
Moses' wife is like, I didn't see our anniversary on that one.
It's a special. I definitely remember when it was.
You wrote the booths. There's a lot of booths.
Yeah. Well, I like the booths. I like the booths. Ours is so everybody knows our anniversary because I know.
See it.
It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, it's not on the calendar you posted.
I didn't put New Year's Day on there because we all know when New Year's Day is. It's just ingrained in us. Light and bread is Leviticus chapter 24. God spoke to Moses. Order the people of Israel to bring you virgin olive oil for light so that the lamps may be kept burning continually. Aaron is in charge of keeping these lamps burning in front of the curtain that screens the testimony in the tent of meeting from evening to morning until continually before God. This is a perpetual decree brought or down through the generations. Aaron is responsible for keeping the lamps burning continually on the lampstand of pure gold before God. Poor Aaron. He's stuck. He's stuck with the most.
That's a job.
Like menial. Anybody can do this job kind of job. And I wonder if he ever complained to Moses, and Moses was like, well, but it is so important and you're so good at it.
This is one of those jobs where you say, this is a question people ask. Like, would you rather get in a fight with a bear, or would you rather be hunted by a turtle your entire life? And it's like, well, the bear would be very difficult, but then it'd be over. But like the turtle, and the turtle like never dies. It's like a very slow moving animal that hunts you at all times. That's what these type of jobs are. Are they hard? No, but they're constant. And you just wake up in the middle of the night and like, did you do the oil? Oh yeah, I did. Okay, it's fine.
And we all know what happens if you don't do your job right in the temple area.
Probably first one's a warning, if I had to guess.
Maybe.
Second one's
if you're lucky. It was already written down.
Second
That's your warning.
Written up in your file. Third one is like a PEP, a performance improvement plan. PIP. And then fourth is you're torched by fire from the sky. So yeah, you're getting there. Leviticus 24. Okay, a lot going on in Leviticus 24, actually. Like that a lot of times the heading of these chapters gives you like great insight, right? 23, all the festivals. It was all the festivals and simply that. 24 is a little story in there that's actually kind of interesting. Tragic. I'll give you a story briefly, and then I'll give you a little hot tea. Tim.
It's great.
Little hot tea.
You're bringing hot tea in here?
Bringing the hot tea. I'm not allowed to drink it because you and the viewers said I slurp too loud. But I have a little tea today. So this is what it says. Now the son, verse 10, the son of an Israelite mother and an Egyptian father went out among the Israelites, and a fight broke out in the camp between him and an Israelite. The son of the Israelite woman blasphemed the name with a curse, so they brought him to Moses. His mother's name was Shelomith, the daughter of Dibri the Danite. They put him in custody until the will of the Lord could be made clear to them. Okay. And the story goes on.
Spill the tea.
A judgment is made, and this young person is killed. It's unavoidably like a tragedy.
Right.
Here's what is interesting. I think I've talked about it on the podcast before. I don't want to go too deep. I hate when people are learning things. There's something called a midrash, which was like for years and years and years, Jewish people would study these texts, and they would sort of like fill in backstory, and they would notice things. It's not wildly unlike what we do here. but they would, so some of it was funny, some of it was weird, because it's like, basically like, I don't know, what do you think? So there's an interesting story here. So some of the stuff that jumps out, it's an Israelite mother and an Egyptian father. Doesn't say that they're married. Doesn't say it's like a husband-wife situation. Doesn't specify that. But the woman is specified specifically. And her name means something to the effect of like, a lot of people say that the terms around the name derive like chatty or personable or like big personality. Anyway, long story short,
Let's call her Rebecca.
the T, and there's different versions that have been spelled out. All of this extra biblical, by the way. Like, so whatever degree you don't take us seriously, take this even less seriously. We have no idea of knowing. But it's an interesting thought that the Moses kills someone in Egypt. He kills the Egyptian worker that kills the Israelite man. And there's a Midrashian story that says that the Egyptian worker that Moses killed was this kid's father.
Okay.
And that
Like the guy that's mentioned here?
so the Israelite mother and an Egyptian father. So saying the Egyptian person, taskmaster, might have been this kid's father. And then there might have been like this like interconnected beef. And then Moses has to get involved and kind of sort it all out. But there's like a lot of nuance to it.
Oh.
Yeah. So then there's like different layers on top of that where they're like, was it like, what could that situation have been like? But that's one of the...
Like maybe Moses had him offed because maybe he was starting to run his mouth a little too much about what happened to his dad. Maybe it wasn't so much blaspheming the name of God.
There's talk of...
I like that.
Of like, and there's talk of like why he was so quick to sort of blaspheme the name of God. And it's like, well, this guy killed my dad. And there was like a built-in animosity for all that. But then there's all these like theories of like, even if that was the thing. And again, this is so like, we're just pulling stuff out of the sky. But because we don't have any reason to know that that's true or not. But it was interesting.
Yeah.
It was just a little hot tea.
Yeah.
And it also jumped out at me. Like, you're naming the woman very specifically. And it's a very vague, like, there was a kid and here was his mom. She was Susan, who lived down the street. 113th. Do you remember her? Like, why are you saying it like that? And then it was like all this, like, so they did a little noodling in there and it was pretty interesting.
All right. I'm down. Same story, verse 13. Then God spoke to Moses, take the blasphemer, this kid, outside the camp, have all those who heard him place their hands on his head, which is never a good sign in these days.
Ask the goats.
Whether you're a goat or a person. Well. Then have the entire congregation stone him. Then tell the Israelites, anyone who curses God will be held accountable. Anyone who blasphemes the name of God must be put to death. The entire congregation must stone him. It makes no difference whether he's a foreigner or a native. If he blasphemes the name, he will be put to death. When they start putting their hands on your head, that's when you start to run. You gotta run.
Gosh, that's another funny thing where you go to like the modern execution in American churches, and it's like, hey guys, Timmy's not feeling well. Why don't we all put hands on him? No, I've read Leviticus. I know how this ends. Pew. Timmy leaves. Verse 19 for me, anyone who injures their neighbor is to be injured in the same manner. Fracture for fracture, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. The one who has inflicted the injury must suffer the same injury. Couldn't help but think about the enforcement of this policy, and without the use of X-ray, how much are we like going back and forth was kind of my thought of like, oh man, they hit me. I got this like really bad bruise on my leg. Like, oh, okay, well, we got to hit that. Ah, shoot, we fractured him. Well, now I got to go back because the bruise isn't really the same. Ah, shoot, we broke his leg. So I guess now we got to go back. This one's a
compound fracture. All right, let's break the skin.
Like, how much work are we having to do before we're like, all right, finally, we cut both their leg off. Like, that, you have to go there because that's the one you're like,
just kill him.
If we just take the leg off, we can bat. Then we know we're even.
Right.
But it's hard to do these nuanced injuries.
Which is a funny little analogy of like retribution anyway. Like, it doesn't really work. Like, and that's never fair. Like, you break my arm and then I come in and I break your arm.
Right.
Maybe exactly what it needs to be broken. No more, no less.
Right.
But there's no way to make it exactly equal.
Right.
You're still going to be pissed off at the other person that they broke your arm, even if you broke their, like, it doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which leads me to another point that I'm going to bring up in a second. But later it says, anyone who hits and kills an animal must make it good, whatever that means. But whoever hits and kills a fellow human will be put to death. And no double standards. The same rule goes for foreigners and native. I am your God. I am God, your God. Like, okay, well, that seems to have escalated pretty quickly to, you're dead. You're going to die. It doesn't matter. You're dead.
If you kill someone else?
If you kill someone, you're going to have to die.
Yeah, you have to die.
You got to die.
Them's the rules.
Yeah. And not so okay, here's my little rant. Again, not trying to be like intelligent here for any reason. We're not trying to have people learn something or like take. Well, you started it, Mister,
with your
little hot tea.
Being,
well, it's just funny. Like this, I can't resist talking about it. Like, because this is where we're at. Is where we're at in the world. But this is what Jesus is pulling from when he's talking on the Sermon on the Mount later on. If you're a Bible person, if you're a Jesus person who is into what he said, if you like go to a church that is, I know this is.
I'm just saying, spoiler alert, because we are going to get.
We'll get there in like 4 years, man. But like, this is what Jesus is talking about in the Sermon on the Mount, and so I like went to that text, and it says like. Because what he does is he flips this whole script upside down, and like, and it's even nowadays, people do these things, even in churches, and they're like, well, an eye for an eye, you got to get them back.
Right.
And it's like, no, Jesus goes, no, you heard it said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. This is from Matthew 5 or whatever. Yeah. In the Sermon on the Mount. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If anybody slaps you on the right cheek, slap the right cheek too. No, give them the other cheek also. And if they want to sue you and take your shirt, give them your coat too. Right. Like, if anybody forces you to go 1 mile, go 2 miles. Right. Like this mentality of like flipping this whole thing upside down, and it's such a slap in the face, pun intended, to the way of being that like we want to be. Yeah. Like this is what's remarkable about the Jesus person when he's saying all this stuff, and like that would have been so meaningful to those people back then, and like we don't seem to even get it now sometimes. But yeah, anyway, and then he even leads in that moment, because you could say like, man, this is like sort of blasphemous. Like, it says here to do this, and then you're telling me to do the other. And Jesus leads with, y'all think I'm trying to abolish the law, like get rid of that law? Like, no, I'm coming to fulfill it. I'm finishing this. Like, it's me. And I think, again, not to get too preachy, but if you're a Jesus person, you go to a church with Jesus people, and Jesus, like, you do Christmas and Easter, because those are like the big ones. You got to listen to what he said. Yeah. Like, it's a big deal. Yeah. So anyway, that's it. Yeah, no, it's good. And like I said, I do think there's almost like, it's funny to me, but it's also like, like you're zooming in on ancient Israel when this law would have been in practice. And like, I do think it's planted in there, even at the beginning, of like, okay, they injured you. Great. I want you to injure them exactly the same amount. Right. Well, in practice, like at some point, we're just going to decide to stop injuring each other, because I cannot exactly give the same amount of like, you made fun of my baldness and that hurts me emotionally. So I need to find something emotionally that is a self-esteem issue for you, but it's not like too big of a self-esteem issue. Like, in practice, you'd have to negotiate and eventually say like, all right, we're just going to have to call this done, right? Because I cannot inflict the exact same way it was inflicted on me. Right. And Jesus comes in and goes, okay, if somebody makes fun of your baldness, show them how bad your feet stink. This is flipping. Potentially. I forget the release order. Yeah, no, I think that's exactly, everything you said is exactly right. And I'm glad you said it, Tim. Good job, you. I got Leviticus 25 next, unless you got more. Yeah, bring it. The land will observe, this is what the title says in the message. The land will observe a Sabbath to God. Yeah, so this one's a lot about the Sabbath. Yeah. Which again, and we're kind of skipping over a lot of the repeating stuff. But if you were to go
I think as I'm saying this, I'd stand by it. If you were to go through Leviticus and be like, what's the one thing like that, man, if you were to pull like the most important note in here, it's like, take a break. Like that's, it's like chapters inside of other things. Take a break. Don't overdo it.
Yeah, so verse 1 says, God spoke to Moses at Mount Sinai, speak to the people of Israel, tell them, when you enter the land which I'm going to give you, the land will observe a Sabbath to God. Sow your fields, prune your vineyards, and take in your harvest for 6 years. But the seventh year, the land will take a Sabbath of complete and total rest. A Sabbath to God. You will not sow your fields or prune your vineyards. The land gets a year of complete and total rest. And if you're curious about what they did for that seventh year of food, it says, but you can eat from what the land volunteers during the Sabbath year, you and your men and women servants and hired hands, etc.
Yeah.
And of course, also your livestock and the wild animals can eat from it. That's wouldn't be fair to not let the animals eat.
Right.
Whatever the land volunteers of itself can be eaten.
I actually made a note of that and just was like, gosh, Tim's got to love this section because we got plans. We got contingency plans. We are really talking about how to execute on this policy. I had on verse 8, this just felt very like I resonated with this. Verse 8 in chapter 25 says, count off seven Sabbath years, 7 times 7 years, so that the 7 Sabbath years amount to a period of 49 years. And where I resonate with this is when I help my son with his math homework, and it's like there's a moment where you trust them to do the math, and then there's a moment where they're not doing it fast enough for you, and that's what I hear in this. So you're going to count off 7 Sabbath years, 7 times 7. It's 49 years. It's 49 years. Like I was going to let you do it, and now I'm not. Now I'm doing it. That's what I heard in verse 8.
Well, the next verses say, like, sanctify the 50th year and make it a holy year. And I think it sort of feels like it's clarifying, like when someone says, okay, on 3 we jump. Okay, like 1, 2, 3. Is it 1, 2, 3, or is it 1, 2, 3 jump? Is it 49th year, or is it 49 years and then a 50th year? So I think it's helpful.
Yeah.
Because you got to know 1, 2, 3 jump.
You got to know.
Or 1, 2, 3.
That's all I had for this one. Except for to point out, like I mentioned earlier in verse 20, it literally says, you may ask, what will we eat in the 7th year if we do not plant or harvest our crops? Like, it's just a great built-in frequently asked questions section.
Right.
You may be asking yourself. I'm so glad you asked that.
I want to add to the frequently asked questions, like, and what do we do about the feasts? Well, how will we keep track of when they are? Well, please remember to check back to Moses' calendar posted in the kitchen.
Again, if you'd like to add something to the calendar, I'm going to need you to talk to me first. You don't just walk up there and add it, okay? Because I know that you have a dermatologist appointment, Brian, but not the whole community needs to know that you have a dermatologist appointment. And also, you're still unclean, so you need to get back out there. I haven't seen that mole yet.
FAQs. Where do I find the rules for living? They'll be printed on your issued tablets. Got them.
Yee!
Later on in this chapter, God's talking about real estate. We have like real estate rules too.
I know. I actually kind of dug this.
It's just funny. There wasn't just quirky, interesting that this is in here. The land, verse 23, 24, the land cannot be sold permanently because the land is mine. You are foreigners. You're my tenants. This is God saying this to people, which is great. You must provide for, which is why they do this, the year of Jubilee afterward.
It was the 50th year.
The 50th year, like everything kind of goes back. Like nothing's owned anymore. And there's rules about like what you could sell and stuff before the 50th year, like not to cheat somebody. But God's saying like, you can't, that's not yours.
It's not, right.
And so it's funny that our song, this land is your land. Nope. It's not your land. It's not my land. It's all God's land. Like we don't own anything. And every 50 years, we got to kind of give it up and shuffle the deck again. But yeah, you must provide for the right of redemption for any of the land that you own. And then like, there's rules about like, if one of your brothers becomes poor and has to sell any of his land, like his nearest relative is to come back and buy what his brother sold. like basically like don't cheat people, like welcome people into your land, like don't kick them out because you want to charge them rent, or like higher rent or something. If a man sells a house in a walled city, he remains the right to buy it back for a full year after the sale, which I thought was interesting too. Anyway, I could go down, like going down to like verse 36, like verse 35 through 38. This whole section is really interesting.
Yeah, no, actually, and I missed a note that I had made on all that. One, I thought the whole year of Jubilee, it sounded like almost like board game instructions for playing like Settlers of Catan or something. Like it was just like, that's the practical, because the year of Jubilee was the reset. So it was like, okay, so if you are to sell a property, keep in mind that it will be reset, and everybody has the same calendar, and we all know, well, I'm buying the land, but I'm really only buying it for 2 years, so you're sort of prorating it. It's like all very specific details on all that, which I think is interesting. But yeah, there was a whole run, 17, you may have just read it, I'm sorry if I'm doubling back a little, but like, do not take advantage of each other. 36, don't take interest or any profit from your people, but fear your God so that you may continue to live. You must not lend them money at interest or sell them for a profit. It's just an interesting set of like...
Well, the fuller expansion of that is it's because that's in 35, 38. Man, why are we getting so intelligent? It almost sounds like we're smart.
It's too much.
If one of your brothers becomes indignant and cannot support himself, help him the same as you would a foreigner or a guest, so that he can continue to live in your neighborhood. That's when you don't gouge him with interest charges. Yeah. Like, take it easy on the poor dude.
Right.
Like, don't take advantage of his plight by running up big interest charges on his loans, and don't give him food for profit, like trying to make money off of trying to feed him and help him out. And yes, we're talking about you predatory lenders that are out there.
I was just going to say, all these payday
it's so
loan
on
people.
The nose, and like, people still doing it.
I heard you needed money.
Right. I heard you're very poor and you need money. Let me stack a 14% interest charge.
I know. It's interesting. This is just stuff that, too, like, you just don't think... To me, you don't think much about. Like, I don't know. It's just like, oh, it's a system that exists and whatever. The interest rates are what they are. Blah, blah, blah. I think it's kind of cool. If you're not familiar with this part of the Bible, which I know a lot of people aren't, that there's actually, like, commentary on, like, actually... I'd love for you to not be doing this to people. Right. And I'll tell you a true story. I wasn't even thinking about this till just now. The first car I ever bought, I bought from a 125-year-old man named Clyde. It was a Toyota 4Runner. He was running completely on paper. His whole system ran on paper. And this was, if you're not sure how old I am, like we were well into the time of computers and internets and whatnot. Probably on like the third or fourth iPhone. And so he just ran on paper. He refused to charge me any interest for the car I bought.
How about that?
I paid him every month, and he was just like, you'll pay me monthly for the amount of car. And there was like a conviction he held.
You think it was stolen?
He probably stole it. Clyde he looked like a guy who he didn't get away fast unless he was behind the wheel. And he's still on my phone. This is a weird thing. It actually also just happened to me the other day. He's still on my phone under Ace Motors, which was the name of the thing. And I got my phone out the other day to do something, and I was like, oh, he's for sure dead. And I still have him up there. I'm like,
I've got a surprising number of dead people in my phone.
Maybe I should call him at the end of this podcast and just see.
Do you delete the names of people who died off your phone?
No, but you know what's... I don't.
I don't either. It seems like it's too much work.
It's weirder to me with the Facebook stuff that they're like, I don't know how that like ever self-corrects, but you're just like, oh gosh, that person is not. Facebook will be like, they haven't posted an update in a while. And you're like, I don't know how to tell you. I don't know how to tell you, Facebook. Verse 26 or chapter 26.
Well, yeah. So the end of that again, like it's all on the same point, but it says 39 says if one of your brothers becomes indignant and has to sell himself to you, don't make him work as a slave. Treat him as a hired hand or a guest among you. He'll work until Jubilee, and then he can go back to his ancestral land or whatever. Don't tyrannize him. Fear your God. And I hate that this has to be said. Like, that people have to be told not to tyrannize people.
Right.
But I also get it, because back in the day, we had to tell people what they could and couldn't do with their sisters. So.
Just until the rules are made.
Right. It seems natural to us. Maybe because these rules were established a long time ago.
We have the benefit of all the years with the rules.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. People be just bending back towards tyranny.
Mm-hmm.
And
I thought you were going to say just
the other one.
Your sisters.
If you're not careful.
Leviticus 26. Keep my Sabbaths. Sorry, there's no title for this one.
Continuation of Sabbath.
Yeah. Keep my Sabbath. Treat my sanctuary with reverence. I am God, which is in the Message actually says no running in the halls. In the sanctuary, of course. It says, so I like how these next sections are laid out. It says, if you live by my decrees, this is the title. If you live by my decrees and obediently keep my commandments, I will send the rains in their seasons. The ground will yield its crops, and the trees, the field, and the trees of the field, their fruit. You'll have more than enough to eat and will live safe and secure in your land. It's like, okay, well, that sounds great.
Yeah.
That sounds really fun.
Right. But what would be the worst? If you didn't. So then, if you didn't,
if we skip down, if we skip down, but if you refuse to obey me, okay, it's verses 14 through 17. Can't be like. I mean, we'll see.
Probably doesn't rain as much.
Yeah, God is love. So just remember. But if you refuse to obey me, and won't observe my commandments, despising my decrees and holding my laws in contempt by your disobedience, making shambles of my covenant, I'll step in and pour on the trouble, debilitating disease, high fevers, blindness, your life leaking out bit by bit. I'm paraphrasing and skipping. I'll discipline. No, I'm not paraphrasing. I take that back. I'm just skipping some stuff. I'll discipline you 7 times over for your sins. I'll break your strong pride. I'll make the skies above you like a sheet of tin and the ground under you like cast iron. No matter how hard you work, nothing will come from it. No crops out of the ground, no fruit off the trees. Okay. So this is giving the anxious vibes that I had as a kid growing up in church, going, oh, God's going to kill me for anything I do wrong. But maybe it gets better. We'll see. I'll set wild animals on you. They'll rob you of your children, kill your cattle, and decimate your numbers until you think you are living in a ghost town. And if even this doesn't work and you refuse my discipline and continue your defiance, then it will be my turn to defy you. I will punish you for your sins 7 times over. I'll let war loose on you, avenging in your breaking of the covenant. It's God talking to people. When you huddle in your cities for protection, I'll send a deadly epidemic on you and you'll be helpless before your enemies. When I cut off your bread supply, 10 women will bake bread in one oven and ration it out. You'll eat, but barely. No one will get enough. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, God.
So you usually do this. I'm just hearing this all out loud again. And I'm just a little bit of me is wondering.
Should I say emphasis added? Is that what you wanted me to say?
A little bit of me is wondering if Moses, who has historically had a tough time getting these people to do what he says, historically been ignored and grumbled at and things like that. If maybe potentially there's a conversation and God's like, just let them know that it's if they don't do the right thing, it's not going to go good. And he's like, okay, I hear you. I think it's a great place to start. What if we just kind of fill that in with some...
God's like, yeah. Just say whatever. Yeah, I got to get back to the other side of the world.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like... just tell them it's not going to go great if they don't do the things I'm asking them to do. Okay, right. It's going to go pretty bad. Yeah, it's going to go bad. I don't know that they need all this. Just kind of give them to... I'm just wondering if Moses
walks in, the dishes aren't done, and he's like,
that's it! Teach you not to listen to me. You know what I'm going to do to you? I don't know, that's extra biblical, but it just seems it has a little bit of the vibes of frustrated parent giving up and just coming up with the most. We've all, maybe not all of us, I don't want to say everyone's parents like me, but you get to that point where you say a consequence out loud to a 4-year-old kid who's just been grinding your nerves all day, and you're like, I will throw your Pooh Bear in the trash. And then you're like, oh gosh.
I did not mean that.
I'm not going to throw your Pooh Bear in the trash. That's crazy talk.
Well,
I'm just frustrated at that. The day so far.
Yeah, so let's pretend Moses calmed down and then keeps going. Verse 27 through 35.
Yeah, go on.
I'm sure we've all taken a breath.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. And if even this doesn't work, we might be escalating here, and you still won't listen, still defy me, I'll have had enough, and in hot anger will defy you, punishing you for your sins 7 times over. I think we're at like 7 times 7 times 7 now. We're getting to this nth degree. Famine will be so severe that you'll end up cooking and eating your sons in stews and your daughters in barbecues. I mean, it could be good. I'll smash your sex and religion shrines and all the paraphernalia that goes with them, and then stack your corpses and the idol corpses in the same piles. I'll abhor you. I'll turn your cities into rubble. I'll clean out your sanctuaries. I'll hold my nose at the pleasing aroma of your sacrifices. I'll turn your land into a lifeless moonscape. Your enemies who come in to take over will be shocked at what they see. With you gone and dispersed in the countries of your enemies, the land empty of you will finally get a break and enjoy its Sabbath years. All the time it's left there empty, the land will get rest. The Sabbaths it never got when you lived here.
So it ends good for the land, which I think is worth noting. The land is pleased. The land wins in the end.
God's like, all I'm asking you to do is take a break. That's it.
Don't work. Don't work for one day.
Just imagine all the kids in that room going,
right. It's hard not to like how we don't know necessarily the first time this all rolls out. Either Moses has got a crazed look in his eye and he's like breathing heavy at the end because this has been cathartic for him to say all this out loud, or he's got to introduce this in like a how do I get everybody to be cool with this kind of thing. It's a tough break either way. Yeah. Interestingly enough, and you would never guess this, but a line from my wedding is actually the wedding vows exchange was from Leviticus 26.
Oh, it was in there?
Yeah. There's a line that Rach said to me on the day of our wedding. It was Leviticus 26, verse 11. If you're engaged, I don't know, something to consider. She said, I will put my dwelling place among you and I will not abhor you. It was really sweet. It meant a lot. Thought about getting a tattoo of it. Sometimes I got a reminder, like you promised. You seem like you abhor me right now, but you promised you were not.
At the very least, I won't completely detest and hate you. That's as far as I can go. With this ring, I thee wed.
Yes. Leviticus 26. That's it. That's what happens if you don't keep the Sabbath.
Yeah, no kidding. Yep. Leviticus 26. Leviticus 27, vows, dedications, and redemptions.
Speaking of.
Already wrote it. God spoke to Moses and said, speak to the people of Israel. Tell them if anyone wants to vow the value of a person to the service of God. Set the value of a man between the ages of 20 and 60 at 50 shekels of silver, according to the sanctuary shekel.
Oh, yeah.
For a woman, the valuation is 30 shekels. That's less. And if the person is between the ages of 5 and 20, set the value at 20 shekels for a male and 10 shekels for a female. And I just think the values are funny here. I mean, obviously, we get the sexism here. There's a whole lot of it. But don't worry, it stops later on in the Bible. Just kidding, it doesn't. But so we've got this. But the date range, like the value of a man between 20 and 60.
Yeah.
I feel like there should be some like smaller categories. Like
right. 20
and 30, even like going down to like 5 to 20 is like, oh, yeah, like pretty strong, good 18-year-old.
Was the age range 5 to 20?
It says.
Gosh, if
the person between the age of 5 and 20 set the value at 20 shekels.
Right. And like, here's what I'll say about that. It's all well and good to like, I might have talked about this.
This is to the service of God, though. It's not. They're not saying this is like selling them, and I don't know exactly what that means. This is not the podcast to learn exactly what that means.
Yeah, right.
It's not like you're selling them to.
But it was some kind of like monetary value you're putting on people, and we like to go like, oh, that's crazy, it's terrible, it's all these sexism and all these different things. But then I ask you if you've had a conversation with someone about your life insurance policy, and like, I'll tell you now, there's entities out there that like, sure, in common society, we're like, oh, you're priceless. You're precious. I love you. And then you're going to meet with someone from old Northwest Mutual who's going to look you in the eye and go, $100K for what? What exactly would I be covering for here? Because I got a lot of dreams. Okay.
Because I got
It's not what your
dreams.
pay stubs say. It's not what your chronic family medical history says. Sorry, bucko. Like this is happening out there in the streets, folks. And if you haven't faced it yet, you might one day where they're gonna look at you and they're gonna say, I don't know. I'll put a dollar amount on you. It's not gonna be what you think it is. It is actually a number. It stinks to see it. I know I've told the story. I've written about the story, but the first time we ever did this, we had a kid, our first kid, and we're like, we need to get some of this figured out. And they asked Rach, like, what would you? The question was exactly worded. What would you say your husband is worth? And she was like, I don't know. Like, how do you respond to that? And they were like, it's just like you think about assets and income potential. And I was there. She's like, I don't even know how to like begin it. And the person on the phone was like, well, people just put 0. And then we just kind of run the rest of the numbers on that. And she was like, yeah, she's retelling me the story when I get home. And I'm like, you just agreed with someone on the phone that what was your husband worth? $0? That feels like the worst of all the scenarios. I'd rather have a dollar amount than have 0.
$100 million is what he's worth.
That's it.
Just a ballpark.
Yeah, then make them say, well, for the sake of the form, I'll fill this out differently. But like, no, I'm not just co-signing that we fill that form out 0 and continue on.
Because in the event that doesn't get remedied later on, you're worthless.
I might still be. I don't know that it was ever changed.
If it helps, you're just as valuable to me.
It does make me feel better.
Okay.
Thank you. I had to talk about Leviticus 27, verse 14, which says, if anyone dedicates their house as something holy to the Lord, the priest will judge its quality as good or bad. Whatever value the priest then sets, so it will remain. So there's this, like, obviously there's like this monetary goods exchange system is what this whole chapter is about. They talk about a lot of different things. But I just thought, like, what a great, like, just another title to add when you want to become a priest in ancient Israel. Like, you're a dermatologist, you are an animal butcher, you are a marriage counselor, and you are a realtor also. Like, you're going to go in with your comps and you're going to go, well, I just 2 houses over just sold. And so I'm looking at the neighborhood. We had some of the renovations. I'm not seeing a permit for this in the back. So I'm going to have to give you a dollar amount for your house. How are you supposed to know all this stuff?
What else are you doing?
That's a good question.
It says if a man dedicates his house to God into the possession of the sanctuary, the priest assesses its value, setting it either high or low. Whatever the value the priest sets, that's what it is. If a man wants to buy it back, he must add 20% to its price, and then it sits again.
So that's like monopoly stuff.
Yeah.
You mortgage it. You can unmortgage it.
Yeah, very clear. It's great.
One thing I loved, because you're looking at this system and what's good and what's bad about it, and what, just makes sense to you and what you have questions about. And you have like the year of Jubilee is fascinating. We talked about earlier. The stuff that was dedicated to God reverts during the year of Jubilee, which I was like, that's just an interesting note to me. That it's like, it's one thing if like, oh, this family fell on hard times. We don't want systems of poverty and things like that. You can see how it would be helpful societally. And then you're like, even the stuff that was given to God. God's like, God, year of Jubilee. It's back.
It's back on the market.
Everything's back out. Like, it's not like some accumulate, because you might think that if that wasn't the case, everything would eventually be there. Like, that would be like if that never reset as well. But also that reset. I had one other just general note. Oh, this was a funny one to me. And I couldn't find a verse that really captured it, but it was like, God gave these rules about which animals belonged to the service of God. And it was like a number thing. So it was like a firstborn or the 7th one in the pen or whatever it was. And the way that the rule is worded was like, if you tried to switch the animals, God got both animals. And I'm like, that's such a smart, simple policy to go like, you can try to swap it. And it even in the note says switching good for bad or bad for good. If you however you try to switch these, I get both of them now. That's the trick. So just do it right.
I think you're right. And I think what I've, if we're wrapping things up, what I've taken away, I like your take of this all feels like Monopoly. This is all how to play the Monopoly, the Settlers of Catan, whatever game you're into. These are just the rules for playing that particular game.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of rules in this one.
I also, what I want to take from earlier in the chapters is I'm going to use the plowing in the fields, the harvesting in the fields, and like leaving the edges. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to put that into my life and justify why I will get a mustache every once in a while. So my wife has to be okay with it. Like I had to leave the edges of the field open.
You have to. It's for the benefit of the community.
It's for other people to come. They have to have something to reap.
To look at.
It's right here.
Yeah. No, I think that definitely checks.
And she'll have to comply.
Here's what I'm going to say for my, maybe what did you learn during this time? And I am going to say it's a full Leviticus thing. Take a break. Take a break. Just take a break.
Take a break. Let's do a podcast.
Listen to a podcast.
Take an hour.
Take a break. You are not wrong for taking a break. That's one thing I think we can all agree on.
And if you don't get me started on what God's going to do to you.
You're not going to want to attend the next barbecue at your house.
Do you want to eat your sister and brother on a barbecue pit?
It's just the way that part, it just gets more and more and more.
And if you said yes to that question, we have other things to talk about.
It's almost like, gosh, I was just thinking about this story the other day. And it's too dark. I'm not going to tell it. But it's like when you're in a brainstorming session.
I'm not going to tell it, but I'm going to.
No, I'm really not going to tell the actual story. But it's like, you be in a brainstorming session and somebody has an idea. And you're like, everyone goes, oh, okay. That was heavy. That was a heavy one. Everyone's
Thanks, Ron, for your input.
Yeah. There's that one. There's always that one. That was Cheat Day Devos. We've done the entire book of Leviticus.
We did it.
Next week, buckle up, because we're starting, not next week, it'll be 2 weeks from now. We're starting Numbers.
I love Numbers. If it's I haven't read the book, but if it's anything like the math books I had in like middle school and elementary school, I'm going to love them.
Read through the Bible. That's what started all of the Bible Was Funny. Was shocked to find book of Numbers, because you're like, ooh, what does Genesis mean? It means the beginning. It means the start. What does Exodus mean? It means the release, the exit. What does Numbers mean? There's a lot of numbers in there. That's what it says.
It's the book of accounting.
There's a lot of numbers in the book of Numbers, but we're not going to make you read all of them. We're just going to do the highlights starting next week. So be sure to be here and be square. Be there or be square.
And there it is.
Rooted. Numbers joke. Love you guys. Be back here with another podcast so soon. Thank you so much for following along at The Bible Is Funny on Instagram, TikTok, and whatnot. If you're listening to this podcast, it's also available to watch on Spotify and YouTube. Love you so much. Talk to you soon, okay? We'll see you then.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Bye.